kind of at our mission statement for what we hope to achieve here in Portsmouth, especially with our Chromebooks, to engage you all in rigorous learning opportunities, so really hard learning opportunities that are supported by a high quality curriculum, superior teaching, and to prepare you guys to thrive in an ever-changing world. So we know right now that the world is full of change, and we want to prepare you for whatever scenario you're going to be in and whoever you want to become in the future. As part of the Portsmouth Middle School initiative, so you guys, as well as the 3rd graders and 4th graders this year, I know 5th and 6th, we have some new students in 7th, 8th as well, should have received both a Chromebook and a charger. So this initiative is no cost to you guys unless something is lost. So knocking on wood, Chromebooks have not been lost ever for a long period of time at Portsmouth Middle School. We have not ever had a Chromebook go completely missing. So that is really good to know. We've had a few chargers go missing, but what we really, and Mr. Costa, correct me if I'm wrong, what we really hope you do is keep that charger in one place in your house and make sure that the charger is usually connected to the Chromebook inside of your backpack. So you don't even have to take that Chromebook out of your backpack to charge it. You can leave it in there as long as you have your cable connecting into the Chromebook to charge it. So Chromebook nuances and different things that the Chromebooks have. So everything is created and saved in Google. This is really different from when I was growing up and when maybe some parents and guardians were growing up, because you're using the Google Drive, you're using Google Docs, Sheets, no Microsoft Office. So this is a little bit of a change, but teachers are helping students through this. I'm working with both teachers and students to make sure everybody is good to go. So signing in with a username. So only Portsmouth school accounts are allowed. So we can't sign in with Gmail accounts on these. We can't sign in with Yahoo accounts. Only your Portsmouth email address and your Portsmouth Schools RI.org link at the end. So when you sign into your Chromebook, I would put, if I were a student, my last name, my first initial, and my year of graduation. So it could be Del Santo S11. And then we could have at portsmouthschoolsri.org is already in the Chromebook, so you don't have to put that part in. And then you're going to put your password. If you don't have your password yet, you are going to make sure that you get it very shortly. It should be the same thing that you had last year in 4th grade if you were with us for 4th grade. If you don't know it or you have no idea it got changed somehow, we're going to give you an email address to email later in the presentation to make sure that you're all set with that. So bookmarks or anything that the students do are actually saved under the username of the student. So it's not saved to the device. I know I have a lot of parents and guardians who are concerned and say, oh my gosh, my device broke. I'm not going to be able to get any of my work. So because we're using things that are in the cloud, we're using the Google apps, we're using bookmarks, all of that will be saved if you go onto a different Chromebook and you're able to work from there. So all students are going to be able to have the opportunity to be successful, even if we have a problem with our Chromebooks. We also have safe web security at school and home. So we're going to talk a little bit about safety in a few minutes. Chromebook top tips. These are for my kiddos that are sitting out there right now. So please keep your Chromebook away from water and other liquids. Keeping your Chromebook in its case when you're not using it. If you don't have a case, your backpack serves as a case, definitely. You just want to keep it away from being on the floor and in a place that's going to get stepped on or kicked. Pick up your Chromebook with both hands and make sure that your pencils are kept away from the Chromebook keyboard. Please keep your Chromebook charged at all times. Usually we recommend that you just charge it every single night. And then keep your passwords safe. Don't share your passwords with strangers or friends. Parents and guardians are okay to share your password with. So some advantages of Google, I just, in looking at the Chromebooks in particular with Google, I put on here student quotes that kids have said in the last few years, their favorite parts about Google. Just 2 that I'd like to highlight. One is that Google saves all work automatically so that nothing is ever lost. This is really great because you can have your computer go down, you can have your internet go down, and you still have access to all your work. Another thing that students really like about this is it makes working with a partner easy because two kids can be on a Google Doc at the same time or a Google Slides presentation, and they're able to work at the same time. Looking at some of the logistics. So will students be taking their Chromebooks home? Yes. So students will be taking Chromebooks home every single night to charge them. We're recommending that you leave them in the backpacks. Just don't put the entire charger in your backpack. That brick that's part of the charger, you can leave on the outside of your backpack. What will happen if a student forgets his or her Chromebook? I know I've gotten a lot of questions about this. So the answer is that you're going to get one if you leave it at home. We need to make sure that you have access to the curriculum. So please, 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 we have a limited number. Remember to bring those Chromebooks every single day. If you do forget once in a while, say once a year, once a quarter, we're going to make sure that you have something to learn with. Mr. Costa has actually recommended a change this year. So instead of having you guys leave the classrooms, we may have the librarian bring one to you, or you may have to just go into your hallway to borrow a Chromebook instead of going into the library and kind of traveling a lot around the school. We're kind of limit that this year. So what happens if a student loses their Chromebook or charger? So the students do have to report this loss to the librarian just so that somebody knows that there is a charger on the loose or a Chromebook on the loose, whatever it is, we want to be able to find it. So if it's a charger, a lot of us just keep our eyes out and we try to locate that charger. If it's a Chromebook, which it most likely is because most kids leave their chargers at home, Miss Kim Rael, who's in IT, she's amazing. She will help us ping it or look at the last location that Chromebook was on and open for. So a lot of the time we're easily able to find that Chromebook because we know where it was half an hour ago. Like I said, we have never, ever lost a Chromebook fully. So that has been a good feeling and I'm very proud. And I know Mr. Costa is also very proud of the students in Portsmouth.
Yep.
So, Mr. Costa, do you want to talk about damaged Chromebooks? Because I know this has changed a little bit from before.
Yeah. So on the damaged Chromebook side, we the good thing about, because of distance learning and the ability that we had to purchase some insurances on the devices that we're loaning, if you damage a device correctly. So if we damage a device, correct me if I'm wrong, I think Jake's on the line as well. Yep. If we damage a device, the device, you will get a loaner device that you can take home. And then your device will be sent out for repair. So that's a good thing. In the past, we weren't allowed to send that device home. So a student would be stuck in a situation where they may not have a device at home. And then when they get home, there's no device to use, they can't do their homework, etc. So we had to change that model a little bit because distance learning, as we know from last March, things can happen really quickly and things could change. So we want you to be ready at all times. So that way you're, you're learning, you're doing everything that you need to do to be at the top of your game in school. And I think that's really a very, very important piece of the mission of the district. And we're trying to make sure that the students are focused and working and always being able to do what they need to do. So that made a big change for this year in regards to damaged Chromebooks. The IT department, if there's a damaged Chromebook, there's a process that needs to be taken. So normally we would go to, if there's a device in the elementary schools, the librarians would take that information. So you would take that device to the librarian, or the librarian will come to your classroom and pick up the device. And then we would send it out for repair and give you a loaner device that's been cleaned and ready to use with you at home.
If a student is in distance learning, Mr. Costa, I just want to clarify too, in case you have a student or you are a student in distance learning for this coming quarter or this coming year, we want you to know is just bring it to the main office. So the main office will be the ones collecting those ones.
Right. So if the parents drop it off at the main office, they'll be able to, we'll have to plan this. So when you do come in, we'll have a loaner ready for you so that you can use. And then once your device is repaired, it will be cleaned and brought back to the main office for you to swap out. And then we'll put the one that you borrowed in the bin, and the parents will take the assigned device back to them to home. So that's a different little process as well than what we did last year. And then we're doing similar things with the students that are in school with either the librarian, or we go to the classrooms and pick up the device and swap out with a clean device for the student to use at home. Parents or guardians, will you have to pay for damaged Chromebooks? So the answer is yes and no, depending on the product that was given. So it's a little confusing because we have so many Chromebooks. We went from a small group of Chromebooks that were, some in school, and then some students were taking them home, to now everybody taking them home. So those students that have a specific device may have additional coverage on it, but there's other students that may have just one breakage. So we're trying to work through this the best we can. The important thing is, a few slides back, Ms. Del Santo described to you kids that you have to take care of your devices. It's so important. It's so important for you to be ready every day in school, to have the device charged at night, in your bag in the morning, ready to learn, ready to go. It's just like another tool. So like a calculator, a pen, pencils. This Chromebook is used in the classroom. It's used outside. Maybe you're going to do a science project, or you're going to be learning outside. You're going to be able to use this device throughout the day. So you want to always take care of it, so that way your parents don't have to worry about damages. Just like you do at home with your devices at home, you take care of them, you don't ruin them. We want you to take care of these devices while you're using them until you get to the next grade. Then you get a new device, and we're going to do the same thing. So always remember that, parents may get a charge for a lost, or damaged Chromebook. So just be aware of that, and we will work with you, work with your students. We just don't, if it's accidental, it's accidental. If it's egregiously damaged, then we may have other consequences too. So
Yes, definitely. Thank you, Mr. Costa.
oh, thank you.
Questions from parents that we've already gotten this year that we just wanted to clarify. So if you know that you're moving with your student, just please make sure that you return the Chromebook and the charger before you move to the library. A lot of times people move away and then have to ship it back to us. So that is still PSD equipment. Please, please, please do that. What happens to the Chromebooks over the years? So this kind of works in different ways. So students receive new Chromebooks in the middle school, and then when they enter the high school, they get brand new Chromebooks again. So 4 years is kind of that lifespan. We're going to have it 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. Then you return it. You get a new one 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th grade. Filters and blocks. Mr. Costa, you want to talk a little bit about this?
Yes. So filters and blocks are, some of you already know, not any, you guys would know, so it's 5th grade, some of the 6th and 7th grades would know. Our in-school filters, we have protect our district internally. So when we're in the school buildings, any of our buildings, we are filtered. We need to be filtered to be compliant with federal and state laws. So we have to make sure that we are making sure our students, our employees, our teachers are all doing the appropriate things online, and making sure they're going to the appropriate sites and doing the correct things on emails and chats. So we do have safeguards in place throughout the district. A new feature that Mr. Karen, who's our network administrator for the district, we enabled the YouTube videos to be approved by teachers. Yes, it's a little bit more work for the teachers, but it's worth having so that the students and the teacher will know when there's an assignment, the teacher approves the video for the student to watch. The student goes home and is able to watch those videos depending on the curriculum and what's going on. There's a lot of advantages to that, but there's also some disadvantages. Sometimes the teacher may forget to do that. So, we just want you to know that you can communicate with your teachers. Let them know that you can't see the video when you're at home. So that way, it approve the video immediately, and you can work on school, at home, at your any of our buildings. We still like ads. They will be blocked. Students can't install anything on the devices. We have to manage that. at the central location. So we manage all the apps, we manage all the software. But there's some gaming sites and things like that we can't block everything, and we have to be appropriate on those sites to leave certain gaming sites on. So we can't every game in the world as much as possible. Securely is the name of the company that we use to support the at-home or out-of-school devices. So this is the filtering system that we use. There is a new system coming in that the state is looking into. Our state vendor that we use for internet is looking to purchase securely. And what this does is it allows us to get alerts on suspicious emails, harmful, dangerous language that maybe a student or students are using in the district. We can help with that and send that information to principals, our tech coaches, guidance counselors, just so they can have a communication, a conversation. Sometimes it's done, because it was a homework assignment. So we usually talk to the teachers as well and make sure that before we bring any discipline or anything like that, it's vetted. We know what's going on beforehand. So it's just a system that we have in place for protecting the students when they're away from the district as well. We are looking at a parent portal for this option so that parents will be able to monitor and manage what they're doing at home. So they can't see what the student's doing at school, but after hours, between a certain amount of time, maybe 4 to 7 in the morning or 6 in the morning, they'll be able to see what the student is doing. Hopefully nobody or any of you guys on this call are not going to be up in the middle of the night doing work. You all have to get your rest. But there will be an option in the future that we allow parents to be able to see what's going on when the students are at home, allow you to pause the internet and do things like that. So you get the kids in for dinner and do what you need to do. So that will come out. We'll communicate that when it does, but we are working on it. The other piece is, just so you're aware of, anybody in pre-K through 8th grade, anybody under the age of 13 cannot send any emails outside the district. So everything it's called a walled garden. It's internal. Students will be able to just speak with anyone within the district. So teachers within the district, other students, and communicate on projects as well. So we do have a lot of safeguards. There's a lot of blocks on those websites. So I just wanted to make sure we're clear on all that.
Thank you so much, Mr. Costa. And Mr. Costa and his team are working around the clock to make sure everybody is safe and that we have the proper filters in place, the proper safety features in place. So he has been, and his team has been absolutely amazing because they've gotten thousands of Chromebooks out this week.
Yeah, we just keep going. But we still need more. There's some, 5th graders. We have a good pile of 5th graders out there. And I know some are distance learning. Some may be homeschooling, but if you're distance learning, and I know you may not need a device now, please email us, and we can help you out. If you email itdirector@portsmouthschools.org, we can find out what's going on and get you a device for you.
Yes. And the primary reason and the primary app that we're going to be using this year is called Google Classroom. Some of you may have used it last year. Some of you may not have. But Google Classroom is going to be a way for your teacher to communicate with you and for you to be able to access all your materials at school and all your materials at home. So sometimes teachers will put in links to videos, ask you to complete assignments, and they're able to go back and forth with you really quickly. Google Classroom is really awesome, and you're going to be using it your first week of school. So as soon as you come into your classes, on your first day even, I think they're going to put you in Google Classroom for the 5th graders especially. So we're really excited to start this whole endeavor with you in middle school. And we are here right now. I know we have to go in like 10-ish minutes, but I'm just going to take a look at the chat and answer any questions that anybody has.
And we did have a hand raised. It was Mr. Packingham, but I don't see him anymore.
All right. I see a question for K students. So for kindergarten students, how can you get the username and password? So just if you have any password questions, the IT director at Portsmouth Schools RI email right now I can see Mr. Karen had put that in the chat. That's a good place to ask for passwords, definitely. If you're new to Portsmouth too, that's totally fine as far as the username is always going to be the last name, the first initial, and then the year of graduation. And then the password, you can definitely email IT director at portsmouthschools.ri.org for the password. Of course. So I'm actually, I'm going to put it in the chat as well. So last name, first initial, and year of graduation. So for example, mine might be Del Santo S and 15. Some people picked up Chromebooks today, Mr. Costa.
Yep, Ms. Sparks. So I'm gonna respond right now. Yeah.
Oh,
so,
beautiful.
Yeah. So Ms. Sparks, just come by tomorrow. We'll be there in the morning until about 2 o'clock. So the same door you came to today, and just bring that one, and we'll swap it out. We like Ms. Del Santo said, we had over 1,000 devices with thousands of chargers. So there's bound to be one that has a problem. So definitely come by tomorrow.
And then Mr. Costa, connecting to printers at home with Chromebooks.
Oh, lovely question. That's a tough one. It's not easy. It's allowed, but it's more on the parent to try to figure it out. And what happens is, because the students can't email outside the district, it causes a sharing problem. So unless there's a true need, because the students can't bring in papers to hand into the class, and the teachers are not supposed to be giving out papers either. So I think there was a whole ruling on that. I don't know about printing. So some students, I know there's some students that may need it. And I think, you know,
I think it depends on the printer too, right,
yeah.
Mr. Costa? Because some of the printers allow it. Yeah, and some.
Yeah, and it has to be a specific type of printer. So I'm not going to say no, it is available. They can set it up, but it's not always the simplest way to do it. So that there may be a little workaround. And usually, you know, for me, I can do it. I can get it going, but some people may have a little bit of trouble. We'll help you the best we can. But like I said, everything is different for anybody that prints. So the best bet is to maybe print it from a device at home, like a tablet or something like that. I've done that in the past. Or if a student has a cell phone, or just to sign into that tablet and then print it out.
I just wanted to touch on also that none of the teachers would be expecting the students to print anything at home.
Yeah, they shouldn't be, because that's a cost for parents.
If it was any printed material, the teachers would provide it, and everything should mostly be done through Google Classroom or other online apps.
Yep.
And while we have that, can you Bluetooth your mouse or AirPods? We'll answer that quick. Yeah, you should be able to add any Bluetooth devices you want.
Correct. It runs Bluetooth 4.0. Some devices have 5.0. You will be able to sync all those devices.
Awesome. And then if they haven't gotten their Chromebook yet?
If they haven't gotten their Chromebook yet, please, if you signed off on the form already, that's great. But I would just email IT director at portsmouthschools.ri.org. That'll come to me. And I will look on the list. If you're there, great. If you're not there, I'll send you the link to sign off. And then I'll tell you to come by tomorrow before 2 p.m. So like I said before in the other meetings, if there's anybody else, if you can't make it, you know, send someone else if you can, a neighbor, a parent, as long as you sign off for that form, and then they can drop it off for you. That's very, very important, so we can get those devices out in the hands before Monday. That would be fantastic.
If the parents haven't gotten the form, Mr. Costa?
Yep. If they email IT director, I will send them that form.
Perfect. Beautiful. And then Aspen usernames and passwords.
So Aspen will be active on Saturday. We're going to be working tomorrow. I have my clerks on it, as well as myself, trying to, in between, giving out Chromebooks and doing that. So we'll be working to get all the priority ones. So anybody who registered a child was the first person on the list. It was the easiest way to do this. You'll receive an email from Aspen with your username and password. And then on Saturday morning, you'll be able to log in. The elementary and the middle school principals are going to be sending out communications from Connect 5. That's our emergency or outreach program that we use. They will be sending out our instructions for parents. The main thing for the elementary students, I know the K through 4 is going to be filling out the attestation form for your health and safety to come into school. We're also going to have that for all the other grades, but in 5 through 8, there's, obviously grade implications and things like that. Or we can have a meeting just about Aspen for everybody. And I think parents would enjoy that a little bit more, just to get the app and understand, and how do I get my grades? I know in the 5 through 12 realm, but in the younger grades, they don't really put the grades into Aspen like that. It's different. So, but we do need to log in and do the forms. And there'll probably be more information that parents would have to do in the future, like emergency contacts and things like that. So there's a lot of changing, but I like this forum that Ms. Del Santo put together, and I think this is great. So we can do more things with parents. I know some of these guys are falling asleep, Ms. Del Santo. I feel bad for
I
them.
know it's late. I'm so sorry, you
We
guys.
do have one question from Mr. Packingham. Should we allow him to speak?
Yes, of course.
Right. All right, Mr. Packingham, I'm going to ask to unmute.
So
All right, go ahead. Ask your question, bud.
in this meeting, Miss Del Santo, you said that we could still charge our Chromebooks without the charger having to be plugged in. So actually,
The charger can be plugged in, but don't put that brick, that big part of the charger, don't put that in the backpack.
Leave it at home.
well, me and my brother tried to do that, and either we got it wrong or it didn't work.
Okay.
So try to charge it again. Every now and then we do have a charger issue.
Yeah.
So if you try to charge it again, here's the big thing I recommend, and this I recommend for everybody, is just make sure that your charger isn't, and that outlet isn't connected to a light switch, because a lot of times students plug in for the night and then turn their light off, and it also turns their electricity off. So it's not charging that night. So just make sure that the outlet you're using isn't connected to a light switch and that you're able to charge it. But thank you so much for already testing that out.
Good
So,
question.
Can you explain it to me again, just to make sure?
Of course. So you can either test a different outlet to put that charger in. And if you don't want to test a different outlet, this time take your Chromebook out of your backpack and make sure it's securely plugged in. If it still looks like it's not charging, you can totally bring it to the library when you're in class.
No, it's fully charged, like it's still charging, but
Yeah.
like just the way that you said it, it doesn't have to be fully plugged in. That
Oh, no, it does. Yeah, it does. So, Jackson, so what you want to do is you always want to plug it in. You have the new device, right? So
Yes.
You have yeah. So with that device, it's USB-C. You just want to plug it in and power it up. But these new devices are also really smart. So if you plug it in and the light doesn't come on saying it's charged, it means that it's fully charged. But you do have to plug it in to charge it. It's not like a wireless cell phone.
So it's fully charged. It says
Good.
it's charging.
Good.
Then you're ready to go. You're ready to rock on your first day, and we're excited for you. Mr. Costa, you have another question in the chat. If
Yep.
you already have an Aspen account, how does it link between two students in the same household?
So we would just check off the box for the new student, and then you will see all your students in the list. So when you go for your middle school or high school student, you will actually see your elementary students or middle school students in that list on Friday night or Saturday morning. So that's all. When you go, if you're already new or familiar with Aspen, you would just see it on the Aspen list.
Awesome.
We do have a question from Scott Ryan.
Yeah,
Mr. Ryan.
are we supposed to bring this to school or?
No, sir.
You can leave that charger right at home, bud, because if you're charging it every night, so the charge in a Chromebook actually lasts for 8 to 10 hours of use. So you're not even going to need it during the day if it's all charged up, because you can use it all day long and that Chromebook won't die.
Okay.
That's a very good question.
Great
Also,
question.
keep it in a safe spot. If you have, I see you have a puppy or a dog,
Yeah,
don't let them chew on it. Keep it in a safe spot as much as possible.
Yes, and make sure we've had a few issues in the past with dogs doing potty near the charger, so make sure your charger is kept far away from that.
Don't poop on the charger.
That was my dad.
Yep. So, what is it? Last question from Zoe is when
Last question from Zoe. When you go to school, you bring your Chromebook every single day and you bring it to all of your classes because sometimes you're going to be on that Chromebook for 5 minutes in a class. Sometimes you're going to be on for 30 minutes. So you're just going to bring that with you, Zoe. Great question. You're going to bring it with you to all of those classes just to make sure you're prepared for the day. It's almost like a notebook or a pencil.
Absolutely.
Thank you guys
Great.
so much. If you have
everyone.
any other questions, feel free to reach out to that IT director email that I know Mr. Costa gave you. My email is also right here. I'm going to post it in the chat just in case anybody has any further questions. Thank you so much for coming, and we will see you hopefully next week.
Absolutely. Bye,
Thank
guys.
you guys.